Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be about the effects of the medication Vyvanse and how it has affected my body, how it has helped me, how it has drew some things back, and just the overall aspect of the medication of Vyvanse. Now, if you have seen my previous videos, I am very vulnerable and I open up about my struggle with bulimia and binge eating and eating my feelings, and I started seeking therapy, counseling, because she's really a counselor, because there's a difference between a therapist and a counselor, because I believe the counselor is allowed to give you medication and the therapist isn't. So I've sought counseling, and she helped me get onto the road with Vyvanse, and Vyvanse is a ADHD medication, and one of the side effects is a major appetite suppressant. So it's okay for people who have ADHD to help you with focusing and to give you like a little pep in your step, and it also gives you the appetite suppressant, which is also good for binge eating, and it is FDA approved. I started Vyvanse at 10 milligrams. She started me off really slow so I can ease into the process, and it's not going to make a big toll on my body. So I started with 10. I first started noticing like headaches, like I was getting like really bad headaches and like close to like migraine pain, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I would be like dizzy, but my appetite was suppressed. So I had headaches and I was getting dizzy, my stomach was hurting like super bad. And then after a couple days, it like subsided. And then I was like, okay, I feel like it's not really working. Like I still have urges to eat and whatever, because I was still living in the habit of doing it because I've been doing it for so long. And so I just had to break that habit. And I was like, you know what? That's something I have to work on. So I'm not there yet. But I was like, you know what? Let me just try 20 to see if that'll help me with the urges. Because I was like suppressed with my appetite, but then again I wasn't. So I went up with the dose to 20, and she only gave me a month's supply of 10. So that cut my supply short by me doing that, but I took the chance anyway. So the 20 started helping a little bit, but after a while my body got used to it, and I was like, okay, I guess this isn't like strong enough. So after the 20 was done, it's so hot in here, oh my goodness. After the 20 was done, I had no more pills, because the thing that she said in my session with her when she prescribed it to me the first time, she was like, because this is a very addictive medication, and it's a very exclusive that you can only get a prescription for, there is a database that they track to see how many times you re-up on it, and they track to see if you are like going over it, to see if you're like getting it too much, stuff like that. So when I finished the 10, because I switched to 20, I got like super like anxious, and that's one of the side effects, being anxious. So I was like, but I'm already an anxious person, so I was just like anxious. I was like, oh my god, I don't want them to think I'm like a drug addict, I don't want them to think I'm addicted to it. I was just like playing around with like dosages to see if what my body needs and what would help me. And I was, I believe, a week and a half without Vyvanse. So I ended up having like a 4-day binge because I was eating my feelings, because I was disappointed and I was like frustrated, and I felt like I had nowhere to go. So I ultimately turned to food, and I went back to a place that I once saw comfort in, and I no longer see comfort in. So I went back to that place of comfort to ease my pain in the moment. But then the next days when I woke up, I was even more depressed, and it was just a big snowball effect. I ended up having a 4-day binge, and then after that 4-day binge, I had seen the counselor at my doctor, and I told her about it, and she was like, and then like we had like a discussion, and then she prescribed me to 30, but then she also gave me a bottle of 10s to play around with the dosages again. So she gave me two prescriptions, a 30 and a 10. And she said start with the 30, and if your body is, you know, needing a little bit more, you can go up on the dosage. I was like, okay, cool. So I started the 30 the next day. It was all cool, smooth sailing. But then a couple days in, like, I was getting like a gut-wrenching, like, stomach ache. I was getting dizzy, like I was shaking, like crazy shaking, and I was getting headaches and migraines, and I was getting dizzy, and I was like really sensitive to smell. I was nauseous. Oh my goodness, it was disgusting. I was like any little thing, I would get nauseous. I wasn't anxious, and she said that would be one of the side effects, that you get like anxious. But I wasn't anxious, but I was constipated, and for a while I didn't poop. And then I just took a laxative, and I don't like to take laxatives because I used to abuse them. Back in my days, I would like binge, eat my feelings, and then a day later I'll drink like 3 of them so I can like flush out everything so I won't gain weight. But oh my god, it's terrible. But yeah, I try to like stay away from them, but I really needed it because I was like constipated. And I remember like a really big constipation, like it was like really hard poop. This is TMI, but this is life. Everybody poops, everybody gets constipated once in their lifetime, okay? So I remember like I was really constipated, but I really had the urge to poop. So I felt like I was delivering a baby. Oh my goodness gracious. I was like, and I was like pushing, and I was pushing, and I was pushing, and then I was like, ah! And it finally came out. And then like a big chunk of poop came out, and then there was like blood in it, in the toilet bowl and everything like that. This is TMI, but I had to share it with somebody. I shared it to my doctor, but it's like, no time, you know? They hear that stuff normally. And there was like blood all over, and then I got an anal fissure in my anal glands, anus, whatever that's called. Whatever, I got a little cut from it expanding that large. And I just put like medicine on it, like hemorrhoid cream, just to like soothe it, and it went away. Anyway, that goes to say that I was constipated from the medication, and like the first couple days I was just like, ugh, so over. And that was around like day 4 or 5, and then I was like 5 to 6 days without pooping. So that's why it was like so hard and so big. And then I had to like come out, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, oh, I delivered a baby, and it was terrible. Anyway, so she said after a week, if the side effects are still going on, let her know. And I was like, okay, cool. So I waited a week, and I dealt with it. I was just, oh my gosh, it was terrible. Shaking, nausea, headaches, what else? I barely ate. Like every time I ate like a little thing, like I will be full for the rest of the day, bloating. It was just terrible. But I was like, you know what? I'm only gonna be dealing with this for a couple weeks, couple months, just until I get to my goal weight, and that way I won't be depressed and eat my feelings because I'm looking at my body and I'm like so fat. That's the reason why I'm on this, because I would look at my body and I'm just like, I'm so fat. Even though I'm not fat, I look at myself. I have body dysmorphia, so I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. I mean, because it's like growing up fat, you have that mentality stuck in your head that it's like, oh my gosh, you look in the mirror and you just see like a big fat pig. And a lot of people don't understand that because they've never had like such a drastic weight loss. And every time that I look in that mirror, I don't see the skinny mini that I am. I see like this big fat pig that I used to be, if that makes sense. So I have this body dysmorphia, and it's something that I'm trying to fight off, and it's a battle every single day. I have to constantly tell myself that I'm beautiful, and I'm not fat, and there's millions and millions of people who would like die to have my body, and I just have to constantly talk that into my head and feed positivity into my mind so that no negativity is breaking in. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was only gonna deal with this until like a couple months, and I'll deal with it. It's fine. This is just part of the process. So then, the week went by, and then it was smooth sailing. And then after, my body started getting kinda, not really, but kinda used to the 30. And she was saying like that's what I gave you the 10 for, just to like play around, because it goes up to I think 70 or 75 milligrams, and you can dabble around. But she's like, don't go over 50. I said okay. So I was kind of getting used to the 30s. I was living my life, getting back to who I used to be. Like going to the gym constantly, because I was like deep. I was like in depression, like deep into the depression. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed in myself. And I feel like nobody knows how to deal with that type of, depression. Like, I don't know, like getting out of that funk of feeling disappointed. Like, I don't think anybody knows how to get themselves out of that, of feeling disappointed. Like, if you're feeling ugly, you can put like some makeup on, do your hair, or whatever. But if you're like feeling angry, you could just put like soothing music and you're soothed. You're feeling sexy, you know what to do. If you're feeling happy, you could just go like skip around or whatever. But when you're disappointed, you're just like there, like a slump, like, and you're just like, ugh. You're just there like looking like, I'm such a failure, like stuff like that. I'm so dramatic, but anyway. But anyway, what was I saying? So I was dealing with that, and I was like, you know what, let me try going up with a 40. But before I did that, like a day before the 40, I ended up, I had a really good workout, and then I ended up, like, this was in the beginning of the week, I had a really good leg workout, and I wasn't eating my feelings. It was just, like I was saying earlier, it was a thing that I did regularly, every week or every 2 weeks, and now it's just all about breaking the habit, and it's something that I need to work on, and I'm constantly working on. And it's I really held on to this Vyvanse, like, oh, this is gonna do all the work for me, I don't need to do anything. So instead of like a helper in a way, I was expecting it to do all the work for me, and me just, be like, oh, I'm so full, I don't need to eat anymore, and I'm back to skinny mini. This medication is not a weight loss medication. Let me just say that it's not a weight loss medication, but it helps you deal with the binge eating, and ultimately you stop binge eating and you're going back to your normal ways, and you're obviously gonna, lose weight and go back to your maintenance weight or whatever you were before you started eating your feelings. But anyway, oh my gosh, it's so hot. And anyway, I ended up going back to my old habits for a day or two. It was 2 days. It was Monday and Tuesday. Anyway. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then, after I went through that, I was like, oh, why did this happen? I thought this medication was supposed to work, and blah, blah, blah. And I then got a revelation, and I was praying, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm just so disappointed in myself, and I feel like you're disappointed in me, even though he's not. But it's just like, when you're in that mood, like everything and everyone is like disappointed in you, because you are. And you feel like everybody and everyone is disappointed in you, when it's your own insecurities that are inside of you and no one else is even thinking about that, and blah, 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 So I was like, ugh. And then I got a revelation, and I was like, wait a minute. I remembered a sermon that I was listening to months ago. But at that time, I was like, it's not really needed. But then, as I was like laying there and praying, I got that sermon back into my head, and I was like, oh my gosh. This is exactly what they were talking about. It was talking about expectations, and expecting something, and an unheard or unsaid expectation. And you expected something, and you get disappointed or angry or whatever because it didn't meet your expectations. And you need to communicate that, and you also need to work with it, to the situation, to get that expectation out of it. So then I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that makes so much sense now. I'm like, oh my god, thank you God. So anyway, after that, I got back to my normal way of eating, in my caloric deficit, trying to lose weight. And then I realized, I was like, oh my gosh. And then my cousin had came over, and he was like, you don't even need these pills. Like, all you really need is willpower. And then I was like, yes, that's exactly what I need. Like, this is my crutch. I'm holding on, but every time I'm getting like a little bit extra hungry, or I'm getting like, you know, just like I'm going back to my old ways, I have to remember, this is my crutch, and I still have to hop, and I still have to walk on one leg so that I can get to my destination, if that makes sense. So Vyvanse is just a crutch to help you get to the place that you once were, or the place that you ultimately want to be. I don't know, but it's not a weight loss pill. Anyway, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. And now that I got that revelation, and I'm not expecting it to do all the work, and I'm working with it, it's been helping me so much. And update, I lost 6 pounds, and I'm like, yay! I'm 153 now. You know, I'm on my way to being another skinny bitch, and I'm just so happy, and I'm just like, yay! And I'm finally becoming myself, and I'm feeding myself positivity, and I'm just getting to that place that I kind of was, but I wasn't really there, because mentally I wasn't there, but physically I was. So mentally I was fucked up, but physically I look like a boss-ass bitch, you know, even though I do now, but I looked like even more of a boss-ass bitch, you know. And now I'm there mentally, and I'm slowly getting back to it physically, if that makes sense. So I'm just like, I'm in such a happy place right now. And this isn't gonna be long term. After, you know, I start getting the ball rolling, and I get my confidence back, and I'm not looking at myself as a fat pig, I'm gonna like slowly dose off of Vyvanse, and it's gonna be gone forever. Hopefully gone. I just need to work. Gotta do the work. Come on, we gotta do the work. Gotta do the work. Gotta do the work. Gotta do the work. And yeah, it's just a crutch. Everybody needs a crutch once in a while. And this is just my crutch. It's a part of the season that I'm in, and yeah, I just hope that it actually like all comes together, because it was a very dark time in my life, and I'm using it to build my platform, to build awareness, and just to help other girls and guys to deal with eating disorders and body dysmorphia and depression and everything. And I just feel like if you have access to it, like a therapist or a counselor wants to prescribe it to you, I feel like you should absolutely take it, as long as you don't have that mindset of depending on it to do all the work for you, or staying on it forever. It's a medication that can help you get back to where you used to be, and get you back into a stable place. Ooh, excuse me. But it's not supposed to be there forever. And all I say is good luck on your journey. You're not alone. And I hope and pray that this video serves you well. I hope you learned a lot. And I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your recovery. And thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.